Welcome to the Soul Tribe Podcast. The Soul Tribe Podcast was created to help you navigate through the world of spirituality, wellness, and self-development in an easy, grounded, and relatable way. We break down everything from the Akashic Records, manifesting, spirituality, and so much more. We want to help expand your boundaries and bring the spiritual world to you in a fun and easy way. Get ready to be inspired with tips, tools, and easy to digest information. Let's do this.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Soul Tribe Podcast. Today it's going to be just me, Lucia, doing an episode alone, and because I wanted to come on here and talk about basically the body and health, but like listening to the body, and there's a whole story behind it. So maybe I'm catching some people up with where I'm at and what's up with like me and my life. So for those that didn't know, I left Holland. I no longer live in the Netherlands. I literally gave up my residency and it was like a massive step. And I moved all the way back to the Cayman Islands where, originally my child was born, where I was living for 5 years before I had left for Holland. This is where I worked. This is where I got married. This is where I had my kid. So this was a big place for me. And for me, it always felt like even though I'm not from here, because everybody knows that I'm from South America, even though I'm not from here, this is the one place in the world where I always felt like I belonged, or this was like home some sort of a way. I have no idea why. I would have to probably one day go into the Akashic Records and ask, because there must be something to either the land or the area or the energy or the maybe the grid system or maybe a past life. It could be any of those, really. And I do hear a lot, I've done quite a few readings, and a lot of them recently, the person will be informed of the best area energy wise. So I do think that a lot of people are being called to go and move to different areas, whether it's a new place or a place you're going back to. But I think it has a lot to do with our personal changes, where we are in our own evolution, because we're all supposedly trying to help or assist. Well, not everybody, but the majority of us are starseeds trying to assist with the evolution of the human collective and the human body. And sometimes that means that you need a specific energy, or something shifted in you. You cleansed something out, you cleared something out, and something shifted in you. And this place over here has an energy that really suits you. So it could be obviously past life related, but since the starseeds that are evolving have a lot of karma, so the starseeds that are evolving and that have been doing the really good shadow work, those individuals supposedly are closing karmic cycles. We're disconnecting from karma and connecting to dharma, which basically means there's no more lessons. You're not on the samsara wheel anymore. You're exiting the samsara wheel, and you're going to start living in dharma, which means you're here to just live your complete mission and purpose, and be able to enjoy your life and live from a place of collectively assisting and collectively vibrating in the right place. So sometimes that means you need to live in the place that's going to help you vibrate that way or get to that vibration. So I'm clearing that up because maybe some people are wondering why they're called to certain areas, and this might be like a good response for them, or maybe you just needed a sign, and maybe this is your sign. Whatever it is, I'm just clearing it up. Follow your intuition. Don't let your mind convince you that it's too hard, because I could have at any point decided that it was too hard to get here, because it was not a walk in the park to get here for me at all. Anyone from the Patreon group can tell you, I've been keeping them up to date with everything even from flying. Everyone was worried about me because I disappeared for a few days. I wasn't talking to anybody because my flights kept getting canceled. I couldn't arrive. My airplane wasn't even arriving. It was the whole process was insane. So I'm not just talking the talk. I'm walking the walk too. I'm basically, being a representative of how, when you really feel something inside of you and your gut, even if your mind's telling you, how am I going to do this? Why am I going to do this? Why would I put myself through this? This is too hard. But deep inside that that's what you're supposed to do. You got to do it. It's your sign. It's your time. There's no keeping yourself back. So get on it, guys. Not just me, everybody get on it. And okay, so now that you guys are updated on knowing that I've left and I'm here, and of course I've gone through the whole process of I uprooted myself, and this goes for every human that moves. Like, you get uprooted, and that means you have to reroot yourself. You have to put your roots down. You have to stabilize yourself. Some people are calling it like getting back into the habit and into routine, whatever that way it feels for you. It's basically rooting yourself back into a place and saying, okay, this is my new safe place. This is my new safety zone. This is my new home, all that stuff. And so I'm in the process of that still. And I'm feeling a little bit better than I did when I, first got here. I've been here for, it's not a month yet. It's in a few days. It's going to be a month. So I'm feeling a little bit better. When I first got here, I was feeling very stressed out and very unaligned. When I got here, I had to do a lot of surrendering and trusting the universe. And I'm still there. I'm still having to surrender, and I'm still having to trust the universe. I'm still having to listen to my intuition and make sure that I follow it, because it's going to lead me where I need to go. And in that process, I've had moments of over worrying about things, but then I'd be like, no, Lucia, you know better than that. I'm not going to over worry about it. I know that I'm listening to myself and I'm in the right place, and I did everything from listening to myself, my intuition, the gut, right? We would call it the gut, from, making sure my Akashic records confirmed the move was the correct thing, even going outside of me to get someone, a lot of people will come to Akashic records to get a reading with me or Lorena or both of us. And it's just the session ends up being a lot of them getting confirmations of things they already knew that they were supposed to do or were feeling to do. And so I know that. And so I checked with my own Akashic records. Personally, I did my own. But then I said, well, I need my external confirmation just to double, triple check that what I'm doing is the right thing and what I'm feeling is aligned with me. And so I also went to someone I trusted to double check the information. And I even got the astrology chart done. And everything really showed that I was closing a 10-year karmic cycle. And it was actually time to come here. And this was the place for me to realign myself and reroot myself and begin a new cycle. And it was funny because when the person was going through my astrology chart and stuff and information, she was just confirming things that I was already feeling. And that's how people feel when they get their records read. They're like, you're just telling me everything that I already knew. I just, sometimes I just need to hear it. And that's what I did. I needed to hear it too. Sometimes it's but you want to make sure you're not insane, or you want to make sure you're messing up. And so I did all those things just to make sure. And all paths led to come back here. All paths indeed led right here. And so I'm doing a lot of that surrendering that I was just saying, and I'm still there. But there's really small moments where things get overwhelming, where things seem how am I going to make that work out? How am I going to make that? How can I fix that? And I'm talking about from paperwork, getting documents to, even money, a lot of things. There's so many things that I need it to come full circle and make sure that it sets itself up. And some of those things are totally outside of my hands. It's dependent on someone else and not on me. And so it gets to a point where you're universe, I trust you. So I've been here for almost a month. So I'm recording this on the 18th of April. And I arrived the 23rd. I was supposed to arrive on the 23rd. I think I ended up arriving on the 24th, something like that. So I'm almost at the month mark. And so the whole time I've been here, I have not missed one night of meditation. Not one. And at any point I could have decided that I just wanted to pass out and just, I don't know, go into a spiral of mental, what am I going to do? Oh my God. But I've been very no, Lucia, the only way to continue to get the universe to align things for you is to connect with the universe. And that's connecting with the energy. And so every night I make sure to, before I go to sleep, I make sure to spend usually my 30 to 40 minutes of centering meditation. And then that time I'm doing prayer as well. I'm not just meditating. I'm always doing my bubble to protect myself. So I'm doing the bubble with Archangel Michael. But at the same time, after I do that, then I begin my meditation process. And I'm connecting with whoever I'm feeling. Sometimes I'm feeling like I'm connecting with Raphael, who I know I have a major cosmic alignment with. Sometimes I'll connect with Raphael. Sometimes I'll connect with ascended masters, specific ones that I'm feeling at the time that can help me to break down barriers, to help me to move dust, lift dust and get things out of the way and get things cleared up. So I've been calling upon whatever I feel that day. And it's helped me calm down and be like, there's a greater plan and there's something bigger than me. And I'm like, if it's out of my control, it's still in the control of the universe at least. Like, so I'm doing a lot of that, like surrendering and letting go. But there was one specific day, and this is why I'm doing this whole episode. There was one specific day, and this was exactly on Sunday night. On Sunday night, when I started going through a bunch of different issues and things I had to sort out, I was overly concentrating on them and overly worrying about them and thinking this is not going to work and how I'm going to do this and I'm crazy and I can't believe I put myself in this position and and my mind, the monkey mind, right? My monkey mind is going and going and going and going and going. I ended up kind of like sifting through a bunch of information, trying to sort them out because it was things like paperwork and things I had pending anyways. So I had to do that, and like movements of things. So I had to do that. But when I finished doing everything that I said, okay, that I had sat down to do, I was feeling great. But the monkey mind started the whole looking into like papers and money and this and that and how am I going to move that and how I'm going to do this. And, and I'm also moving everything I do from Holland to here. So it's like not easy. And so while I'm in the process of figuring out how am I going to do certain movements, I'm stressing about the fact that half of them are blocked and half of them I can't do anything with. And I'm trying to figure it all out. And I let it take over. To the point where that was the only night that I was like, I'm not going to meditate. I can't deal with it. And then I'm like, no, I have to meditate. That was the only day that I was like, no, I'm not going to meditate today. I'm not feeling it. But when I began that process of the monkey mind, I was in a comfortable position. I had not worked out that day. I had not done any strenuous, weird exercises. I did not do anything out of the normal. Like it was a completely normal day. Body-wise, I was feeling great. And even Aurora was next to me sleeping. And I was next to her because we're staying in a place that's here for like 6 months. And so we have this big bed and we're both sleeping in the same bed. So I had Aurora sleeping next to me on her side of the bed and I was on the other side of the bed and I was just with my computer doing all that stuff in a comfortable position, feeling completely great all day long. And then when I finally finished and decided to like close up my computer, my right leg, like right on the side of the knee, started hurting really bad. Like boom, like out of nowhere. It's just like, it was like from nothing to, and mind you, I had never had a pain in my leg before on that side ever. I have had issues in the very, very, very past. This is like when I was in my 20s. I had issues with the knee area and the back of the knee on my left side. And at the time I was running 12 kilometers every day. This was like a whole year of me running 12 kilometers every day. It was like the fittest I'd ever been. I was obsessed with running at the time. Maybe a little bit too much because the doctor's like, you need to stop running. You're like ruining your knees. But I ended up realizing, and that knee thing happened to me before I decided I was going to move and leave Uruguay. And it ended up being, because I remember I went to read the Akashic Records and it ended up coming out, because I had gotten my records read in that time. And I remember it came out that it was like my soul saying, you're not listening to yourself and you're not doing what you need to do and all this stuff. And there was a bunch of information and details that came with that leg issue. And after I moved, it kind of started going away. And then eventually did completely go away. And it actually flared up. That's a funny thing. I was living in Cayman, and I was towards the end of my like issue with my marriage, and I was like deciding what I was going to do, and it wasn't going really well. And my leg, the back of the leg on the left side started hurting. And I knew that it was my body talking to me again and telling me, Lou, you gotta move, you gotta go, you gotta listen to your soul, you gotta listen to yourself. And I moved to Holland then, and then it went away. A few days after I had like finally arrived in Holland, it actually ended up moving. I moved, and then a few days after I arrived, it ended up going away. But this is different because this was the right side of the leg, and it wasn't the back of the knee, it's the side of the knee, and I've never had issues with that side and that knee ever. So it was like totally out of left field for me, totally. And I remember thinking, this is weird. Well, it was time. I was closing my computer up and I thought, I'm just going to go to sleep. Tomorrow when I wake up, I'll probably be gone and I'll be better. And when I woke up the next morning, it was so painful and it was so bad. It was so bad. When I woke up, it felt like someone had hammered my knee. It was so bad. And I was limping. I could barely walk. And when I had to go like do things for Aurora, I had to like tell Aurora, give me some time to get there, because that's how long it was taking me to get there, because I could barely even put my foot down from the pain. So that had been started on Sunday. So I was on the computer on Sunday in bed, and the pain started after I closed my computer up, after the whole monkey mind thing. And the next morning, which is on Monday, I wake up and it's like awful. It is the worst ever. And when I woke up, I said, okay, Lucia, what is this? You didn't work out, you didn't do anything. And then I centered myself and I said, right side, the right side of my body, rational. Usually when I do readings for people, and the person will ask, the Akashic Records will always show me a division of the body. And for the division of the body, is the left side is intuition or soul or purpose or mission kind of thing, like things that are connected to your soul. And then when they divide the body on the right side, it's usually over worrying, too analytical. So it has to do with the mind more, the rational side. And I said, okay, so I know that my right side is the rational side, the overthinking side. I definitely did that on Sunday. No doubt about that. And then I said, okay, next division, where in the body on the right side is it? The knee. And the knee, I know from Akashic Records readings I've done, is that it's advancement. It's either you feel like you're stuck or you're actually stuck, for example. But in this case, since it's the right side, so remember when I had it on my left side that I was just telling you guys about, like it was on my left side, it was because I was not progressing or moving forward with my soul's plan. So that's how you can see how it's the left side, it's the intuition or the purpose or the mission. And my soul was telling me, leave Uruguay, it's time to leave. So it was my soul telling me left side, connecting to soul, purpose and mission, knee, advance, take the next step, get yourself out of your comfort zone, get yourself out of here, go do what you need to do. And then when it happened, when I was here, when my marriage was going really bad, it was telling me again, you have to leave this relationship. It's over. You got to leave this place for a while. Got to go do this over here for some reason, right? In this case, now, since we know the knee in that area is usually advancing or plans or being stuck or stagnation or things like that, I knew that it was, in my case, it was advancement. I was rationalizing too much. My issues that I was feeling was keeping me behind. So it was from the rational side of the knee. And I knew this right away. I said, okay, Lucia, you've been really exercising the trust muscle. I got to get back to it. Like I fell one day. One day I fell and look what happened. My body right away told me, you got to stop it. And so the first thing I thought was my Healy. And so I don't know if everybody that's listening has heard me talk about the Healy before, but the Healy is this amazing device. And it's literally like it's like the size of the palm of your hand, a little bit smaller. And it works with the frequency of your body. And so if you have there's packages, like you have the basic Healy that has basic programs, and then the more advanced Healy reads your quantum fields. So it reads your energy, your frequency, and it tells you what program you should be running on yourself. It's basically reading your energy and saying, you need to run this on yourself. This is the issue you're having. When I first purchased it, and this was before COVID, so I've had this for three or so something years. So when I first purchased it, I said, come on, how accurate is it? And I literally have been testing that thing since the day I got it. And that thing does not fail. It does not fail. It's insane. And I remember one day when I was feeling so depressed, like this was a long time ago, but I remember one day when I was feeling so depressed and I was just like feeling so down about life in general. I can't remember what was going on in my life at the time specifically, but I remember the feeling. And I remember thinking, I wonder what Healy has to say about this. I wonder how accurate Healy's going to pick up on it. And I picked up the Healy, I grab it, I run the programs for it to read my frequency to tell me what program I should run. And it tells me, I think it was called Acute. I need to go look back at the programs, but I think it was called Acute Happiness. Oh, let me see because I have some of the programs in front of me here. Because it was like under the programs of mental health. We have the Gold Cycle, Pain Psyche, Learning System. What other programs you got? Fitness, Job, Sleep, Beauty, Skin, Mental Balance. Okay, here. So it was, Contentment Acute. That's the one it told me to run. It told me to run the program Contentment Acute. It was picking up that I was depressed. It was insane. I can't even believe, till this day I think wow, it literally read exactly like, dude, you're depressed. Run the contentment acute system. So I went, and of course I ran the frequency, and not so much after I ran it, I started feeling like I had come out of the pit of the victim role. Like I really felt it really helped work with my frequency because everything starts in the energy world. So if the energy world is picking up on the depressed state because your mind, it started in my mind, obviously. In this case, my mind's thinking I'm probably thinking about stuff that's not making me happy. My whole body's unhappy. And then my whole aura or my whole energy quantum field is unhappy. The Healy picks up on that, tells me run system acute. And then it starts working with the frequency of my body, but of my aura, my quantum field. And it obviously works with it to the point that it starts bringing in a more content state, a less depressed state. And then it goes to your body, and then the mind is able to pick up on it, and my mind's starting to think less, in those negative spiral cycles. And so that's a really good example of times that I tested it. And then when I'm sick as well, like I've tested it where I'm like, I remember Aurora once was brushing her teeth on a chair, and she slipped. We were like visiting my parents in Uruguay, and they didn't have I didn't have a proper setup for her to go on on a stool to brush her teeth. So we were using like a plastic chair, and she was like balancing herself on the chair while she was brushing her teeth, and she falls and she smashes her nose on like not the toilet bowl but the bidet, which is next to the toilet bowl. She smashes her nose, and it was so awful. It was of course she was bleeding, and we checked and it didn't look like it was broken, so it just looked like it was really swollen. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to see how this continues. It was nighttime, obviously, because she was brushing her teeth to go to sleep. So I thought I'm gonna have to check to see how this, works out. And then tomorrow, if it's still really, really swollen, I'm gonna go to the doctor, but it didn't seem broken at all. And so I grabbed the Healy and I tested it. I checked for, because you hold it. I told her to hold it, and I got the Healy to read her frequency, and the Healy tells me to run the pain program, one of the pain programs. I'm like, accurate again, Healy, thank you very much. So she was in like a panic state because Aurora freaks out. She doesn't do really good with like pain and blood and things. So she was kind of freaking out. And I laid her down and I connected her to the Healy with one of the pain programs. And while it was running, she just passed out. So I was like, okay, thank you, Healy. And then the next day, like the swollen got down pretty quickly. So it could have been the Healy. It could have been Aurora's body. You never really know, right? In those cases. But so this whole story is trying to lead me for you guys to understand how the Healy works. And so I should have trusted the Healy. At this point, 3 years in, I've tested it so many times. It's worked for me so many times. You would think that my instinct would be like, run the program it says no matter what you think. But that's not what I did. Because when Sunday came along, I went to sleep. The next day I woke up and my leg was so bad. Like I said, I could barely walk. I was limping. And then I put warmth on it. I kept it really warm. Nothing was making it go away. And it just felt like it was getting worse and worse and worse. And when we came back upstairs, because Aurora wanted to go outside for a little bit and play, and I was just like laying there, sitting there, just surviving the pain, really. And when I finally came back upstairs, I said, that's it. I need to grab the Healy. And I said, I wonder what the Healy is going to say I should run. I'm thinking it's going to tell me run pain, like run the pain program. And it didn't. And the system it told me to run, and I'm looking for the name now. Wait, because I have the programs right in front of me. It told me to run. It was something acute. It was exam system, which is under, because there's like categories. It's under the learning system. So there's like fitness, and there's beauty, and there's skin, and there's the gold cycle is the basic cycle, and it has like so many programs that are, even if you have just the basic Healy, what's the gold cycle, all those programs are amazing. And a lot of times it sends you to those basic programs because it gives you so much. But in this case, of course, I read myself, and it said for me to run exam system. And I said, why is it telling me to run exam system? Like, I'm not studying for an exam. I'm thinking, I'm not studying for an exam. I'm not like sitting down doing crunching numbers, or I'm not sitting down like, I don't know. I didn't, and Lucia, like as Lucia experienced with the Healy, I should have run that program, but I didn't. What I did was I told Aurora, like, let's relax the rest of the day because I cannot deal with this pain anymore. And I remember I was taking homeopathic medicine for pain, and it was not going away. And then I ended up saying, that's it, I need to go to the medication, which I try to avoid because I know it lowers your frequency. But at this point, the pain was lowering my frequency because I was just in complete agony with the leg. So I ended up taking a pill for the pain, and it kind of helped, but didn't take it away completely. I'm like, oh my God, nothing's working. And I lay back and I run the Healy, because you have like these electrode things that stick to your legs. You can put it in a local system when it's pain, like back pain, chronic pain, things like that. Healy's really good with pain. Those are those programs that are known for being like really, a lot of people that suffer from like lower back pains and things like that, people always like talk about Healy and how amazing it is. So I put the electrodes, sticky electrodes there with, connecting it to my Healy and running the pain program. And it was getting a tiny bit better, but it wasn't going away. And I just kept pressing the Healy back on because it would run itself for, I can't remember the pain program. Every program has a different amount of minutes depending on the program. But let's say it was 50 minutes. And when the 50 minutes were up, I would turn it back on and do it again, thinking that like, I'll just keep running it for hours if I have to. And it wasn't going away. And I'm like, let me read myself again and see what the Healy says that I need to run. So I run the program, the resonance program that tells you what your frequency is telling the Healy to run, right? What it needs. And it came back the same time. I did it 4 times, and it said, exam system, exam system, exam system. I said, what is wrong with this Healy? This has nothing to do with exam system. My knee's killing me. Mind you, I had broken down the information beside the right side, everything I told you guys, the right side of my body, the rational, the progressing and feeling like I'm stagnation and going forward, da-da-da. You would have thought that I would have been like, let's run it, because it has to do with the mind, right? But I'm kind of happy it happened, because it made me realize how freaking efficient this thing is and how amazing it is and how amazing our frequency is, that our frequency is speaking all the time on a consistent basis. It's just that the technology to read it exists. It's just not really known and not out there, which is why I'm doing this whole episode, because I wish that all of you had a Healy, because it is the best thing that happened to me. I'm telling you. I love it. So anyways, I gave in. I said, fine, Healy, all right, fine. I'm going to run exam system. And I laid back and I turned it on and I put on exam system. And when it finished running, because exam system runs for 30 minutes, and I finished running it, and I'm like, wait, I think the pain's getting better, actually. And then I thought, yeah, well, I just took a pain pill not too long ago, so maybe that's kicking in, actually. And I was like, okay. And then I decided to turn it back on and run another 30 minutes just to see. And then after it finished running, I was like, the pain is actually even better now. And then I read it again, and I was like, oh my God, the pain is like really getting better. I'm like, let's see what happens. I'm going to take no pain pills, and I'm going to see what happens. So that was yesterday. So today's Tuesday for me, right? That was yesterday, Monday, towards like the afternoon to the night. I was doing that. And I said, I'm going to go to sleep and I'll see how I wake up. And guys, I woke up this morning and the pain is basically gone. And when I ran the pain program for my knee locally, it did not subside more than just a tad, like a little tiny bit. It made me feel better. But when I ran the program that it said for me to run, which is exam system, that's when the pain literally started going away. And I said, oh my God, like, just like there's no other option but to believe in this thing, even more than I already did. And it was obviously picking up, and I guess exam system is, so I try to analyze it like a little bit. I'm like, okay, exam system, what is that? Because you don't have too much information about each program. So I went to the manual, I got whatever I could, but I wasn't saying like, this is what exam system does for you. Like, you don't get that kind of information. So I thought, okay, exam system, what would that really mean? Someone that's stressed out about an exam. And what is someone doing that's stressed out about an exam? They're overthinking, and they're overcalculating, and they're overlooking, and they're crunching, and they're all that stuff. And I was crunching numbers actually at some point, because I was going through like moving around money from one account to another account, because I'm moving my stuff to Cayman from Holland, and this and that, and how am I going to do this, and how am I going to move that, and how am I going to do that. And I was also looking at other things, like how am I going to be able to do this on time and that on time. So it was about numbers, about times and weeks and months and projections out into like how long it's going to be this paperwork and that paperwork. So if you think about it, I was crunching numbers, I was crunching timelines, I was crunching strategies. It was like an exam. It kind of was. It was like my mind was preparing for an exam, the exam of life, I guess in this case. But yeah, and it freaking worked, guys. It freaking worked. Like, even though I've had the Healy for more than 3 years, you'd think I would know better and I would have just run it without questioning it. But now I will. From now on, I will run it without questioning it. And the really funny thing is, the whole time I had the Healy when I was in Holland, Sandra also didn't really trust it. He's like, yeah, whatever. And so many times we put it to the test with him, not believing it. Like I remember once he was getting really, really, really sick. And I said, okay, you don't believe in the Healy. Let's run the Healy on you and see what it says about your frequency. And it was telling him to run the lung program. And we ran it. And then like after the program finished, he was feeling a little bit better than he had when he started running it. And that was his first introduction to beginning to believe it. But then time has passed and he's seen me test it, like with the depression thing and so many other scenarios we had in the house, which I probably don't even remember half of them. But when Aurora was having issues, or when he was having issues, when I was having issues. So now even he believes in it and realizes the power of it. And for those that don't know the history of the Healy, it's original technology from the basis of the studies and the work that Royal Rife did. And the incredible thing about that is that I don't want to say certain things and like get possibly shut down. But supposedly, like, I'm gonna say it in like a nice covered up way. He was working with patients that were sick that had cancer, and let's just say they stopped having it. I don't know. That's the best way I can say it without because I think that I've gotten censored before for saying health stuff. So anyways, that was his studies. He literally worked with cancer cells, and it was incredible the work that he did. Of course, just like things that have been discovered that's for the good of humanity, somehow it's diminished or blocked, or patent issues, or a whole fire of all their work goes up in flames. You know how it goes. I don't have to tell you those stories because you guys already know it, I'm sure. But that's what ended up happening to Royal Rife. So his amazing technology, which, let me look it up because I can't remember what year he was doing this, because, the amount of people that could have been healthy, that could have gone into complete health with what this man had figured out and studied for years. Our grandparents even could have, our parents, it's insane. It's insane that was suppressed. Well, no, it's not insane. We all know why, but yeah. Let's see, Royal Rife. There's other machines out there, because that's what I'm getting now. I'm looking him up. I thought so. Okay. It says that he died in 1971, and I was thinking in my mind that his stuff was out in the 20s. So I'm probably not wrong with that, because he died in 71. And now that I Googled his name, there's other machines that are up that use the basis of his work as well. So this is just the beginning, if you ask me. It's just the Healy. The Healys began. So when I bought a Healy, the company was a startup. So it was just, I don't know how long it's opened, but it was a startup. And I had purchased it, and I found out about it thanks to Paul and Paul, who we met, that live in the Netherlands, and they were into the Healy and all that stuff. And so they introduced me to it when we interviewed them, and I did a course with them. So that's how I found out about it. And they convinced me to try it out and purchase it. And it was because I was always having a lot of health issues. And so they were recommending that because one of them also was having health issues and also was able to improve because of it. And they had all good things to say about it. I said, well, you know what? I have nothing to lose. Also, if you can sit in your house and run that thing and be more smart about what's going on with you and figure it out, and the thing helps you and empowers you, I'm all for it. I have to say, in the last 3 years, I've realized one thing about myself that I didn't know, and it's that I'm obsessed with technology that has to do with healing or aligning your body. I'm obsessed with it. And I didn't know this about myself. And the first step to going towards that was the Healy, because I realized how amazing when technology is used in a positive way for humans, how amazing it could be. And I've gotten so much into it. I just love it so much now. And it's the beginning, because if you ask the Akashic Records, they talked about the future of humanity and how technology is going to be used to align the human back into, health and wellness, well-being, and all these things. And I think this is just the beginning. But the sad part is we could have already been using it in the 20s, right? But we know how that goes. We know why we weren't able to use it, because it doesn't make money. You buy this machine, you buy it once, and then there's probably other tech. It could have advanced even more probably. But you get this thing once, and it's something that helps you understand your body more, and it works directly with your cells. And it works directly with your cells. It works directly with your frequency, and they're starting with the root of the problem. I mean, a good example is my story just now. The problem wasn't the pain of my leg. It wasn't the leg that was hurting. The root of the problem was my mental state. I was obviously overthinking, and the energy state, maybe it was still there and I didn't realize it, but also it was still in my energy field. It was still in my aura, and the Healy picked up on it. And the Healy said, let's calm you down. Let's sort this out. And as soon as it did, energy-wise, it was able to realign me, and then the pain started going away. So that's a great example of how these new technologies, well, now we know not new, but new for us because it's just coming out and we can just grab it and have it in our house now. But these newer technologies that are coming out now, they're helping us go to the root of the problem and not go cover it up with like a pain pill I was doing, right? The pain pill was never going to cure anything. And even if I got the pain to go away, it was going to show up in my body in some other way probably. Because if it was still happening in my energy field, my body was going to continue to pick up on it. It gave me signals. Lou, you're not doing great. Fix your mental state. Lou, you're not doing great. You're overthinking. Lou, you're not doing great. And that's how your body talks to you. It wants to let you know that it's not doing okay. And so that's why I'm obsessed with these advancements in these technologies, because it empowers us and it fixes the root of the problem, which a lot of times there's a domino effect where you have this one thing. Let's go back to my example. I was overthinking. Let's say that I continued to do that for a whole month. Well, maybe my leg pain would have gone away. It would have kept going. And then it maybe would have moved to my back because I start walking funky because of my leg hurts, and now my back's starting to hurt, and now my back hurts. I'm having issues I'm trying to hold on to the pain, and now I'm having problems opening up my lungs and breathing properly. It's like a whole domino effect. One thing, I'm just giving an example that's off the top of my head, right? But it's like one thing leads to another thing in your body breaking down, then to another thing. And then you're just on a bunch of medications. You're going to the doctor all the time to get things checked out. And it just keeps happening. It doesn't go away because the root of the problem is not being dealt with. And everything is in the energy fields. So if we can work on it from the energy fields, of course it's going to function in our body. It's going to work out in our body. And so I love that this happened to me, even though it was awful and painful. I do love that this happened to me because this gave me a really good opportunity to talk about this in a way that I wasn't able to before because I hadn't had this specific experience. Because I did have other experiences with the Healy that were great, but this was just so. It was so quick. It was so quick that I was able to confirm every thought I had. I was like, oh my God, the Healy was right about what I was supposed to run. Oh my God, my pain is going away. And it confirms the whole thing that I know about the rational side and the right side of the leg. It confirmed even the body, the information about the body I had gotten with the Akashic Records, the whole thing. So for me, it was this amazing experience where I was like, wow, our body speaks to us on a daily basis. And we got to really get good at listening to it and not going just, oh, the knee, oh, the doctor's going to tell me that I need to stop running. Because that's what I was told, for example, once, right? The doctor's going to tell me that I just need to stop running. And then, oh, great. Now this one thing we used to do that actually kept us semi-healthy, now we're not going to do it anymore because it's going to mess up the knee. But you didn't go to the root. So the knee thing is not just going to go away, or it'll go to another section of the body because it's the domino effect, right? So I invite everybody to just open up to these technologies, whether it's with the Healy or with those other energy, frequency, quantum, healing, quantum doctor, whatever. Find a way to work with your energy body and your body in a wise way so we can get back to health and wellness. And I think that 2020 should have been for us a wake-up call to realize that we can't treat everyone in the same way. And that not everybody's the same, and that everybody's is speaking to the person specifically for a reason. And we don't know what that reason is because everyone is very different. And so in the case of the Healy, it's reading your frequency, and as individual, it's telling you what your root issue is. It's not grabbing you and putting you in a category of you're a female and you're this age and this is why it's happening. No, it's a technology that's going to the specific individual. And every individual is different, and every individual should be treated like an individual and looked into so that we can actually go to the center of the issue, to the root of the issue, to heal it there, and not to fall into the spiral cycle of medications and take this and then take that. And that's the old paradigm. That's the old 3D matrix medical process. And now we need to embrace the new way of doing that, because we keep talking about on this podcast, 5D's coming and we got to prepare for 5D and we're going to send to 5D and we're going to go into Dharma and da-da-da-da. But one of those things is we have to stop doing things the way we used to. And that goes from, the way we study to the way maybe like the way we go to work to even the way we treat ourselves when we're not feeling aligned and we're not feeling healthy. And this is an example for you guys so you can understand that better, my perspective on it. And again, you guys know, I'm just going to say this as a sort of like disclaimer, sort of say like they always say, I am not a doctor. I am not a trained medical professional of any sorts. This is just Lucia, always have had health issues her entire life. Since the day I was born unhealthy. So this has been a whole lifetime for me of just looking into, I was put down the cycle of medications and antibiotics to a point where I was getting antibiotics every month. And it was just getting worse and worse and worse. I was getting sick more often when I was a baby, but even when I was in my teen years. And so I myself, through the experience of my lifetime, this lifetime, I've had to find other ways to do things to stay healthy. And I guess maybe that's part of my soul's path to embrace that. But at the same time, it's helped me be open to this stuff. Because I don't think if I ever had health issues that you'd even hear me talking about this on the podcast, because I would have maybe never gotten there. But it's also helped me become completely obsessed with the technology that's going to come into our world. Hopefully in the next 10 years, all the amazing technology for healing and wellness and alignment that I'm so obsessed with, which I hope that it just surrounds me for the rest of my life, where people can just be like, oh, let me see my frequency. Like, that's the future. That's how everybody should be like, oh, I'm not feeling good today. Let me check my frequency. Oh, I need some of this. Okay, I'm going to send myself that. There's a few features in the Healy that I don't have, because when I first got into it, it was just the Healy and like the palm thing, but now you have like the watch and things like that. And then you have another program where you can actually, you know how you consume like flower essences? Lorraine always talks about, she loves the flower essences. You know how you consume the flower essences or you consume supplements? Well, the Healy has this other program where you can actually send the frequency of those, for example, flower essences or that supplement that you're looking to get, and you're sending it to your energy field, so your body's receiving it through the energy field instead of the physical supplement. This is something I did not dive into yet. I have not been able to kind of get into it more. I've just been using my Healy and not going into the newer programs, but this is something I definitely am obsessed with looking into, and possibly in the next year kind of embracing it and trying it out for myself. And then I'll let you guys know when I do that. I'm not there now because I'm in Cayman, and I don't even know if they ship it here. They don't ship it in every place in the world. Not every country in the world has the Healy, like the program where you can buy it and it's sent to your house and all that stuff delivered to your house. I know the USA recently got it not too long ago. Maybe it was a year ago or something. I know that most of Europe has it. I believe Australia finally has it. But anyways, I will leave links for all those, because when I go to my Healy, they give me links to all those areas in the world that have it and that can access it. So I'll send all those links and put, depending where you're in the world, maybe you're in Canada, maybe in the US, maybe you're in Australia, whatever, Europe. I'll leave all those links for you guys to check it out for yourselves. And I know I've gotten messages before when I've talked about the Healy, people like asking me, what Healy do you have? I started with the Healy Gold, it's just the basic gold programs. And it doesn't read your frequency, it just runs the gold programs. And with the gold programs, it's basically giving you frequency that's going to your aura, your field. So I'll list some of them. You have the program that's pure, and then you have care, you have balance, you have being, you have energy, relax, and release. And they say that this is the most common program because a lot of times if you read your frequency, if you have the Healy resonance and you read your frequency, a lot of times they'll send you for me, it sends me to pure a lot, for example. So there are basic programs that are really used. So even if you don't want to spend too much money and you want to get the basic one, this one, all those frequencies, you can totally use them. But that's how I started. And then I ended up with a Healy resonance. So you get the device, the hardware is the device. And then every time you want to up your game and get like a new program, all you do is purchase it online. and then your Healy updates, and then you have all those programs showing up in your Healy. It's on your phone, so you from your phone you play it, and it Bluetooths to the device, and the device is giving you the frequency. And I'm really happy that they created this new Healy coil. So you used to have to do with electrodes, where you would it's like these wristband bracelet thingies, and so you'd have electrodes connected to that, and that's how you would get the frequency. I was finding it annoying because a lot of times I wanted to like wash the dishes, and I was running a program on myself, things like that, and it was just getting caught up in the middle, and it was annoying me. And then now, not so long ago, they created the Healy coil, which is basically you plug it in, and you have it on your person. I usually have it in my pocket, or sometimes I even put it in my bra, and it's just running a program, and there's no wires, like there's no electrode wire stuff. It's just sending the frequency to your body and to your aura. So that for me has been a game changer, because I'll even sometimes go out bike riding, and I'll have a program running on it. In Holland, I did this a lot. I'd have to go pick up Aurora or something at school, or bike ride to the supermarket, and I would just run a program and put it in my pocket or my bra, and I would go along doing whatever I went to do. And I didn't have to worry about the whole wire process. So that was something more recent that they added. So they're always constantly adding new things that help improve the way you can use the device. It's really cool. And if I'm not mistaken, I saw on the website they have one that's like it's like a bigger round device, and it'll let the frequency come out. I don't know if it's a whole room, if it makes the whole room or more than one room, but it's like, I haven't obviously purchased it, but I saw it and I was like, oh, that's cool. So everyone in the house is getting that frequency. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. But also your house is getting it too. So that's kind of cool. Like, imagine if you're running the program, I don't know, Pure, you're like purifying yourself and maybe your child and maybe, your partner's there, and also like the whole room's getting it. Like, it's kind of cool. So those are things that obviously I haven't gotten them, but if I could right now with my situation, obviously I just moved, so I'm not in a situation to spend extra money, but if I did have extra money, I would purchase everything they have. I swear to God, the watch and all of it. So I have only great things to say about it. But yeah, I'll leave all the links for you guys under the episode, like usual. We always do. And you guys can check it out for yourself. 100% recommend it. If you guys have any questions you want to ask about it, shoot me any email. You can go to our website and send me an email. And yeah, I'm happy to clarify anything if anybody's confused. But I think this episode was pretty clear about how it works and how it's amazing. And for those that might be asking, the Healy that I have is called the Healy Resonance. So in this case, the Healy Resonance, you have all of the programs that you can run from your Healy. So you have sleep, and you have the programs that are job, and the other programs that are mental health and fitness and beauty and all those things. For example, the other day I got sunburnt because I was in Holland and I didn't have sun, and I ran the Healy on myself, and it was telling me to go to the skin programs. I was like, oh, that's pretty accurate. Yeah, it makes sense. I'm sunburnt. My skin's freaking out right now. So you have all those programs that are a bunch of different ones, and you also have things like bacteria. Well, they changed the names of them, I think, because of medical reasons. They can't state that it's virus, so I think they changed the word to bacteria. I don't know. I can't remember now what it was and what it's now, but I recognize them. I know which one it is because I already remember where all of them are. But you have immune system ones, which they changed the name immune to defense. Again, I think it was because of medical purposes. You have to be very careful not to state that they're healing you, because then they'll come off the market. I think it is. But you'll have defense, and you'll have liver, and you have meridians, which is awesome. So you'll have all the Chinese meridians. You'll have I don't know, I forgot now, but it's kidney meridian and lung meridian, and so you have a bunch of health ones that are amazing. And then the resonance is the one that I have, which contains all of those programs, plus the resonance is a whole application that's on your phone as well, that you turn on, you connect Bluetooth to it, and it reads your frequency. You ask it to read you read your frequency, and then it tells you, in this case, it told me to run the program about the mental, right? The under the learning category. And you can also read your aura. So sometimes I've tested that one before. I'll be in a really negative state, and I'll read my aura, and I'll have 68 or 80%, 68 to 80% kind of, I don't know if it's called alignment. The energy I have there is you want 100, right? That's the goal. So I would have like between 60 to 80, which is not so great. It's a bit low. And then I'll like meditate for a while. And I'll test myself. And then I'll see that it's gone to like 90 something. So I've tested the aura reading as well. It's just that the aura is changing on a consistent basis. So that's a little bit of a tricky one, I think. But the resonance for me has been 100%. So nothing but good things to say. So check out the links below. Make sure, guys, to begin to read your body. Like, and I know that I talked about my health and my leg issue with the Patreon members, and they all had a bunch of really good book suggestions that like help you figure out, you know, your body speaking to the issues you have. So you can also go to books and learn more about it, not just like kind of, you know the basics of one side and the other, but like break it down for body parts. So we need to start learning about the body and how it speaks and listening to it. And then from there, begin to understand from like knowing when it picked up and when it started, knowing like I did, okay, it's this side of the body. Okay, it's this part of the body. Okay, it has to do with rational and overthinking and it's going forward. Oh, what was I doing right before it started hurting? Like, so becoming more conscious of what we were doing or what we possibly were doing before or during, and where is in the body is it exactly? And then from there, we can go to the root of the problem. Hope everybody enjoyed the episode, and just a quick reminder that you can contact Lorena and I through our websites. We have contact forms or the podcast website or just our individual website. Lorena and I both do Akashic Records readings, and as well as dual readings where both of us come together at the same time and do one person's Akashic Records reading and both of us are channeling at the same time. So if you're interested, just shoot us a message and we'll get back to you to coordinate. Thank you. Bye.